Hola y bienvenidos a la Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente de esa mejor cerveza. No abate por No Filter Network. Miguelito San Dieguito, not with us today. Will the Thrill Clark, not with us today. But each and every single morning, we come on here and properly salute our boys. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! A very pleasant good morning to you on the 5th day of August 2024. Of course, we are sponsored by Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform, and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics to baseball to Formula One racing. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to the Bet Online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of over 150 slot games. All right, this is a big deal here. Head to the website today and to get in on the action, make sure you use the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV, to get that 50% free bet credit on your first deposit. Bet online. The game starts here. Okay, brought back the Daily Hustle written communication this morning. It's been a while. I missed it. And, I think in life, we all go through different phases where, all right, I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to focus on this, I'm going to focus on this. And I do think life in general is about finding out what matters and what's the number one thing right here, right now. Well, over the past couple months, of course, that's always going to be my faith, my health, and my family. And we'll start with that. But beyond that, when it comes to content creation, when it comes to spending my time, energy, and effort, and being able to have as big of an impact as possible, the most important thing for me, I believe, is to focus on what we were doing with no filter. And so a lot of time has been spent, whether it's on the Daily Hustle podcast, or it's on the DEUCES Wild Show with Thrill, it's editing videos, whatever that is, that was and has been the main focus. That all said, I don't think there's a single thing that I have done. I think there's very few things that I've done in my life or from the content creation perspective other than the written email communication with the Daily Hustle that has as big an impact. It goes out to, I don't know what the number is, like 18,000, 20,000. And however many end up reading it, I don't know. The open rate is actually really good considering. But I think when I'm out and about and I get to hear from friends and family and just random people and say, hey, man, love the Daily Hustle from yesterday. Like, that's, yeah. And so the Daily Hustle podcast was actually created within that same sort of realm to be able to come on here and do that. Now, the one thing about the Daily Hustles, as you guys might imagine, is that they take a while. If I'm going to sit down, I'm going to sit down. If I'm going to hike on the treadmill and write these Daily Hustles, that's typically a good hour plus of just focusing on that. And even though some of them are short, it's just, it doesn't matter. But from here on for, I don't know, I mean, I'll commit to today, to tomorrow, and maybe they come or maybe they don't come. Again, this just comes down to priorities. But in my mind, right now, I plan on doing them here on out for the rest of the year. I do. I love doing them. I think they're very therapeutic from a writing perspective. When I wrote the Let Them Play uh, book, the Parenting and Coaching Guide to Youth Sports, a lot of the Daily Hustle written where I would have spent time writing that went into that book, and then a lot of time obviously has gone into the promotion of the book. So was really stoked this morning to be able to get on the treadmill and knock out a daily hustle. So here it is. Buenos dias. Today is August 5th, 2024, and it just so happens to be National Work Like a Dog Day, created to honor all the people in our great nation that tirelessly bust their ass day in and day out with full fucking send efforts. Daily Hustle quote of the day: only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. T.S. Eliot. Daily Hustle translation: 6 years ago today, I was in the midst of the Let Them Play triathlon across America on the bike portion, riding from Oakland to Chicago, averaging well over 100 miles a day, and clearly risking going too far on a daily basis. The challenges and obstacles included road closures, reroutes, roughly 100 flat tires, 3 bike spills, and getting lost on a thermal nuclear plant. Yet, each day, I simply focused on one pedal stroke at a time and putting one foot in front of the other to get us the next 20 miles. We all have limits, but in order to find our limits, it's imperative that we risk going too far while still being obsessed with what will help take us the next 20. It's then and only then when we will find out exactly what we are truly capable of. So there's the daily hustle. I'm having a flashback of being on the thermonuclear plant or the thunderstorms that we hit in Wyoming where it felt I was riding on the moon. Can't thank Kowalski enough for all the support that I got from him. Obviously, that trip wasn't possible without Tara, but what they had to endure on a daily basis was pretty wild. This was just as straining on the family as it was for me from a physical perspective. I mean, think about it. They had us in a car all day, and Tara did a really good job of getting them out and getting them to parks, from one to the next to the next. But having that support there, it was everything. But we did pick a spot, roughly, let's call it 18 to 30 miles away, and it all depended on how fast that the ride was going to be. So obviously, if we're going, up the Continental Divide, we were going to make the stop a lot shorter than 20 miles if it was all uphill. Yet, if it was a real fast, flat, downhill section, we could set it for 30 miles down the road, and then we would pick a spot where we would fuel up and meet Tara and the kids. And, some stops were super short, and so the ones that we'd get in the van and sit down, those are the ones that were just killers. Oh, you can't get in the van, man. You just can't do it. So, anyhow, it was, it's 2,400 miles, right? Over 2,400 miles on that ride. And many people ask me still this day, like, dude, how'd you get through it? It's like, fuck, man, 20 miles ahead. That's it. Go 20 miles ahead. And it's sort of like the race of life. If you look at life, it can be incredibly overwhelming. If I'm trying to think about all the things in my life, even I'll give you guys an example, whether it's, writing, like I mentioned earlier today, whether it's creating the podcast content on the Daily Hustle on Deuces Wild, whether it's being a dad, supporting the kids and their ski and everything that they're doing, and the girls and their horseback riding and Colton his baseball. And then you have the whole element of coaching baseball. So that comes into play. And where does that fit And then often I think, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but then health is a top priority for me. So if that's the case, look, I got to make sure I'm getting up, and on most days it's 5 a.m. to knock out 5, 10 miles before I even come on here and do this, so I don't have to think about, oh well, when am I going to get my miles in the rest of the day? And on top of all this, I'm an aspiring pro pickleball player, so I'm spending, I don't know, 2 to 5 hours a day out on courts, and it's also something I really enjoy doing. Not to mention the fact you're trying to maintain relationships in your life that matter. And just like anything else, it's important that we prioritize those relationships. It's going to start with the family. It does. And it's tough because I think in our lives, we go through different phases. And the people that we hang out with is very dependent on the activities in which we're doing. So, for example, when I played baseball, yeah, fuck, man, like a lot of the people that I hung out with were guys that were baseball players and people in the baseball world. And then when I worked at MLB Network, the people I hung out with were a lot of broadcasters. When I got into the endurance sports thing, whether it was triathlon or ultra running, I hung out with ultra endurance athletes. That was it. As I get into pickleball, I hang out with pickleballers. And I hang out with, say, people in the same sort of media world, content creation type thing. Like, those are the people I communicate with on a daily basis, right? Especially with no filter, whether it's Henry or Joe or whoever else. Like, dude, all this shit matters. And I think it's important to prioritize. But I'll give you as an example. Look, I got my friends from college. I got my friends from high school. Fuck, I love those guys. I would do anything for them and would certainly be there if they needed me. It becomes more and more difficult, though, to find that time to be like, okay, let's take a weekend to go do a boys trip in Vegas for a fantasy football draft. Well, I was looking at my weekend schedule. I'm not kidding you. All the way through the month of September, from here on out, I have something every single weekend. Every single weekend. Some of the weekdays are free, which is great, but every single weekend, whether it's a baseball tournament, whether it's a pickleball tournament, whether it's a family, vacation, like this stuff, travel planned, and it's one to the next, to the next, to the next. That's okay. I mean, it's beyond okay. It's good, right? It's great to have an idea of what we're doing and have a plan and everything else, but I think it can be overwhelming. So, how do you get through it? Well, you go the next 20. That's it. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to get off this podcast and I can go play pickleball in 28 minutes. So, with that, it's one foot in front of the other. We're going to have a family dinner tonight. Like, it's yeah. I'm going to prep a daily hustle for tomorrow. I want to write another one, so we're going to do that. But it's literally, when you look at it from a grand perspective, it oftentimes is overwhelming. And then if you figure out what you have to do, what's important, what's in front of you now to get me through that next 20, that is everything. Oh, the biggest news that we missed this weekend: Noah Lyles wins the 100-meter in a finish. This was really, really fucking cool. Bold, talking American sprinting star Noah Lyles arrived at the Paris Olympics and announced his intentions of leaving with 4 gold medals. On Sunday, he took the gold medal in the men's 100-meter final by 5,000 of a second. He came out just barely ahead of Jamaica's Keyshawn Thompson and the U.S.'s Fred Curley. The photo of this is awesome. Look at that. That is wild. I mean, this is just like frame by frame by frame. What's amazing is it looks like There's like 3 of them that are like outstretched with the arm in the air. So that's really cool. Novak Djokovic, our dude, he wins the Golden Slam. That's right. Even the characteristically tough Novak Djokovic couldn't help but shed a tear at the end of the men's singles finals. The Serbian tennis legend had won all 4 Grand Slam titles in practically every honor there is in the sport, but the Olympic gold medal had escaped him. He had tried 5 times to win gold, failing each time. That's nuts. Just the fact that Djokovic is in his 5th Olympics. That finally changed on Sunday when Djokovic, who's 37 years old, defeated Carlos Alcaraz to win his first gold. Simone Biles, holy shit, it's wild what she's doing. Claims medal number, wait for this, 10, fucking 10. Simone Biles' Olympic medal collection has officially reached double digits. She claimed her 10th Olympic medal and 7th gold in the vault apparatus final on Saturday, defeating the demons she experienced at the same event in Tokyo 3 years ago when the infamous Twisties descended. Despite speculation about potential retirement, Biles said after Saturday's competition that she hadn't ruled out Los Angeles in 2028 when she would be 31. Now, I can't speak to gymnasts, and obviously it's a lot more taxing on the body than baseball is. But I will tell Simone Biles, the best year that I had in my professional baseball career, 31 years old. We'll see you in LA. All right. On Sunday, Suni Lee held down the fort as the only American in the uneven bars final, earning a bronze and defending her podium finish in Tokyo. Algeria's Kalia Nemour fulfilled her long-awaited destiny, winning gold, and Q Quinn on of China took silver. This is a title of the article, right? I mean, it's a quote. It says, "I want to tell the entire world that I am female." Algerian welterweight Iman Khalif, backed by a sizable cheering section, beat Hungarian Anna Luka Hamori on Saturday, meaning she is guaranteed at least a bronze medal. "I want to tell the entire world that I am female, and I will remain female," Khalif said after questions about her sex arose. Lin Tuting, a featherweight representing Chinese Taipei, who has also faced scrutiny, is also guaranteed a medal after her quarterfinal victory Sunday. International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach said earlier that hate speech directed at the 2 athletes is totally unacceptable and stressed there isn't any doubt they are both women and eligible to compete. Okay, I get what he's saying. I get what she's saying. That's fine. I'm good with them being female. And there's no hate speech, I know, certainly coming from my end. No hate at all. I'm just saying that she is obviously dealing with different characteristics than the average female, which makes it an unfair competition. That's all. So if she's going to compete, that's cool. But there then needs to be a different division that is whatever you want to call it, but it's certainly not female. If they want male, male. But obviously they've chosen not to go that route. So it's just a really weird situation. I'm not saying I feel bad if there is hate speech going their way, but you hear things in the accounts of getting hit by the Italian boxer who was talking about like she'd never been punched like that before. Like it's too much fun. And it brings into question whether or not it's fucking safe and whether or not it's completely irresponsible from the IOC and allowing these boxers who claim to be female and have I get it, like, yeah, sure, but ultimately, you gotta look at the numbers, whether it's testosterone numbers, whether it's the XY chromosome that, at least we know the one has. That's an issue. It's a fucking huge issue. All right. Other Olympic highlights: the underdog is an understatement. Is Kristen Faulkner, the American cyclist who didn't even qualify for the Olympics, but is now going home with a gold medal. How about Bobby Fink and the U.S. women set world records in the 1,500-meter freestyle and 4x100-meter medley on Sunday? Team USA is now taking home the most gold medals from the quadrennial swimming. Katie Ledecky, she's already back in the States. She cannot be stopped. She was not stopped. The U.S. swimmer won her 9th gold and 14th overall medal on Saturday, taking the 800-meter freestyle and concluding her 4th Olympic Games in style. Wonder how much longer she'll be in the pool. She's not slowing down at all. Racing in a downpour, Julian Alfred won the first Olympic medal in any sport for St. Lucia on Saturday when she took gold in the women's 100-meter final, which she now can claim she's the fastest woman in the world. That's awesome. If you haven't seen it, go check out scenes of St. Lucia, who watched her win this race and then went absolutely fucking berserk on the street. Super, super cool. Everything the Olympics is and should be about. The crowds are full crashes at the Paris Olympics. Outside the events, not so much. Business is down for the shops, restaurants, and cafes. Taxi drivers sit idle at their ranks, some blaming the Olympics for driving away fares. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Florida, by the way, is getting pounded by Hurricane Debbie right now. So hopefully everybody stays safe. I know there's been a couple of deaths already, like sad ones. Today, a mother and her son, her 12-year-old in a tree had fallen on a motorhome. So just certainly stay diligent. We had some thunderstorms here the other day, just fucking wild. I mean, really, really wild. Scottie Scheffler, what a moment for him. We know he's the best golfer in the world, and it's not even close. He's been number one 99 of the past 100-something weeks. It's amazing what he's doing. And it's also amazing, I believe, how unrecognizable that he still is. I mean, you could even talk about the whole arrest incident that took place. So, anyhow, uh, yesterday, he comes back. He was down 3 shots going into the final round and busts out a course record. I think it was 62 to win the fucking gold medal. I mean, what a moment and what an outfit that Scheffler was wearing. I don't know who was responsible for dressing. And you can make arguments about, hey, you like the Olympic track and field unis, or you like the swimsuits, you're like this, whatever. They absolutely fucking drilled the golf outfit. I need that golf outfit. So, Scottie Scheffler certainly making a name for himself around the world. All right, in baseball, let's hit it real quick and then I'm gone. See ya. The pickleball court is calling my name. All right. So Aaron Judge the other day was intentionally walked with 2 outs and nobody on. This is after he hit a 477-foot homer on Friday night, hit a homer in his first at bat on Saturday, and he comes up in the second inning on Saturday, the second inning. The Blue Jays are down 4-1. And Blue Jays manager John Schneider decided that he was going to intentionally walk Aaron Judge at that moment. Now, it ended up working out, but it brings up the question. Seriously? Down 4-1. You're in the second inning. The worst case scenario is that he hits another homer, and then you're down 5-1. At least, as a baseball fan, which John Schneider, I know you are, you get to see one of the great hits in the history of our game. Like, he's that fucking good. Now, he's going to have to do it for an extended period. Sometimes to be the we all believe he's going to be, and he's really starting to do it. Like, he is legit. There's no other guy that I'd rather watch in the batter's box right now than Aaron Judge. There's not even close. So there's no way, if you're John Schneider, you could tell me, I'm sick of watching him swing a bat. And that's what he said. John, you're fucking lying, man. No way. There's that fanboy in you, dude, that's in all of it. That when Barry Bonds would come up, and even after he'd be destroying baseballs into the bay, I still would get a little giddy after the plate. That's the same way with Aaron Judge. Even if you're on the other end of it, even if you're competing against him. And don't get me wrong, I was never rooting for Barry Bonds to hit a fucking home run. No. But when he came up, it was my attention and my focus would amplify tenfold. And there's good reason for that. And one of the reasons is that I was a fan. The other was, I'm going to make a sick play. I'm going to make a sick play. I have a chance to do it right? And then the other one was like, don't hit the ball too high to me. He's the only one I ever stood in the outfield and worried about him hitting a ball so damn high. So high. The highest ball that he hit one in Oakland one day. I swear to you, I thought it was hitting me in the head. And it was a day game, Oakland, left field. The ball seemed like it was in the air for a fucking hour and a half. Eventually it came down, caught it like that, and that was it. But I do understand totally walking these players in a bases loaded situation, in a first and second situation, and a tie game later in the game. Second inning, you're down 3 runs. Really? Yeah. You're just opening up the potential for a crooked number. Whereas if I just go after Judge, he hits a homer, that's only one. We're down 5-1 instead of 4-1. But the debate will rage on because I somewhat said it again yesterday. The guys literally, I don't think we've seen anybody like him since Barry Bonds. And, you can make the argument for Pujols, for Trout, or whatever else, but I don't think so. I just think right now what Aaron Judge is doing is so next level. Yesterday around the league, San Francisco 8-2 winners over Cincy. Arizona 6-5 over Pittsburgh. Miami 7-0 over Atlanta. New York Yankees 4-3 over Toronto. So they win again. The Nationals 4-3 winners over Milwaukee. The Baltimore Orioles stay hot. 9-5 winners over Cleveland. And Jackson Holiday, another home run. He's now cementing himself as a big leaguer. So cool to see. It was tough to watch first go around. I think if you're a baseball fan, you root for him. And they really struggled, struck out like half of his at-bats, went back down to AAA, made all the necessary adjustments, and has come back up. He's been absolutely slaughtering it. He's about 380 now with a couple homers, 7 RBIs since getting called up last week. Kansas City 3-2 over Detroit. Kansas City 63-50. Now Tampa 1-0. You know they'd always find their fucking way to get back into it. Over Houston, they're 57-54. same record now as the Astros. This is legendary. The Chicago White Sox have now lost their 20th straight game against the Minnesota Twins. The irony was that the Twins were actually the team that broke our 20-game win streak. And then they were also the team to continue the White Sox 20-game losing streak. Things on the south side cannot get much worse. But at this point, if you're a baseball fan, are we rooting for this streak to continue? Or are we going to be super stoked when we see him break it? Yeah. I don't know. I think 20 is enough. Fuck it. You know what? White Sox, I'm with you. Let's get a win. Let's figure it out. We will get a win. Who do they play tonight? Oh, shit. They're at Oakland. I got to go to the game. The White Sox, 27 and 87. They're chasing the worst record in the history of Major League Baseball. So think about this. The Oakland A's, who had zero expectations, and everybody expected them to have the worst record in all of Major League Baseball, are 46 and 67. So they're basically 19 games above and ahead of the Chicago White Sox. That's how dog shit the White Sox have been. It is historic. Like, I knew they were going to be bad. I did not think they were going to be this bad. Really had no clue. A couple of the other games, the Mets, they lost to the Angels. You know, Rod Washington. Angels 49 and 63. Them the A's have that. Oakland went down to the Dodgers 3-2. That was in Oakland. San Diego playing good baseball, 61 and 52. Cal 41 and 72. It was San Diego 10-2. The Phillies get a win 6-0 over Seattle after getting blown out the night before. In the Chicago Cubs 6-2 over the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cubs are creeping back towards 500, so don't count them out. All right. Let's see here. That's about it. Nothing else pertinent. Back on with Daily Hustle tomorrow, and everyone have a fantastic